Let me ask you something that most people avoid their entire lives. Who are you when no one is watching? Not who you perform as, not who you're rewarded for being, not who survives best in your environment. Who are you without the audience? Here's the uncomfortable truth Nietzsche understood long before psychology caught up. Most people don't have a self. They have a mask that survived, and that mask gets mistaken for identity. If that sentence makes you feel defensive, irritated, or uneasy, good. That reaction isn't random. It's the sound of something false being challenged. We live in an age of endless self-expression, yet almost no self-knowledge. You're encouraged to be yourself, but punished the moment your real self becomes inconvenient. So you learn early which emotions are acceptable, which desires are embarrassing, which thoughts should stay unspoken. And slowly, without any dramatic moment, you start editing yourself. Nietzsche saw this coming. He believed modern humans would become domesticated, obedient, efficient, productive, and deeply disconnected from their inner life. You feel it as chronic restlessness, numbness, the sense that life is happening around you, success that feels strangely empty. That isn't depression, that's existential alienation. You are living far away from yourself, and existentialism exists for one reason only: to drag you back. Before we go further, understand this. Feeling lost does not mean you are broken. It means your borrowed identity is collapsing. Nietzsche believed confusion is often the first honest state. Most people rush to escape it. They distract, they label, they medicate, they conform harder. But what if confusion is not the enemy? What if it's the doorway? Nietzsche once wrote something that terrifies people who want comfort. One must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. Translation? If your life feels too clean, too predictable, too safe, you might be spiritually dead. Most people aren't unhappy because life is hard. They're unhappy because nothing inside them is alive anymore. They've optimized survival at the cost of authenticity. Here's the darkest part. You were trained to betray yourself and then praise for it. Good grades, good manners, good behavior, good obedience. No one asked if it was true, only if it worked. So here's the real question. If your personality was shaped by fear, reward, and punishment, how much of it is actually yours? And more importantly, can you undo it? Nietzsche believed you could, but only through something most people avoid. Nietzsche rejected the idea that humans have a fixed essence, no pre-written purpose, no universal morality, no guaranteed meaning. This terrified people because it means if your life feels meaningless, you don't get to blame the universe. You have to create meaning. Existentialism begins with a brutal realization. Life does not come with instructions. Nietzsche didn't see this as depressing. He saw it as liberating, because if nothing is given, everything is possible. But here's the catch. Creation requires responsibility, and responsibility scares people more than suffering. Nietzsche believed most people live as reactive beings. They react to approval, shame, fear, reward. They don't act from inner necessity. They act from conditioning. This creates what we now call the false self. Not fake in a dramatic sense, fake in a subtle, functional way. The false self is agreeable, predictable, socially fluent, emotionally edited, and deeply exhausted. Nietzsche called this state the herd, not as an insult, but as an observation. The herd values safety over truth, belonging over authenticity, comfort over growth. The herd doesn't ask, is this meaningful? It asks, is this acceptable? And if you've ever felt guilty for wanting more, for thinking differently, for not fitting into the script, that's the herd voice inside you. Here's the wake-up slap Nietzsche would give you today. If you are waiting for permission to be yourself, you will never live. No one is coming to validate your becoming. No one is handing out certificates of authenticity. Freedom is taken, not granted. Nietzsche describes self-creation as three transformations, not stages of age, stages of consciousness. 1. The camel. The camel carries weight, duties, expectations. You should. You must. This is where most people live and die. They pride themselves on endurance. But endurance alone does not create meaning. It only proves tolerance. 2. The lion. The lion says no. No to false values. No to inherited beliefs. No to imposed identities. This phase feels powerful, liberating, but rebellion is still reactive. The lion destroys, but does not create. Many people get stuck here. Angry, cynical, forever oppositional. 3. The child. The final transformation is the child. Not childishness, creation, play, spontaneity, value creation. The child says yes to life, not because life is easy, but because it is chosen. This is the real self. So, why most people never reach it? Because becoming yourself is lonely. You lose familiar approval, easy validation, predictable identity. Nietzsche understood this cost. That's why he said, "The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly." Most people prefer comfort over truth. They choose certainty over authenticity, and that choice slowly kills the soul. Existentialism says, you are condemned to be free, not gifted, condemned, because freedom means no excuses, no guarantees, no one to blame. Anxiety is not a flaw. It is the price of freedom, and avoiding it creates emptiness. Nietzsche's will to power was not about dominance. It was about self-mastery, the drive to expand, to overcome, to become more than you were yesterday. The real self is not passive, it is forged through effort, through struggle, through conscious choice. Here's something uncomfortable. If your life feels stagnant, it's because you stop becoming. Stability feels safe until it becomes a cage. You are rewarded for fitting in, not asking dangerous questions. Choosing predictability, Nietzsche saw morality itself as a tool of control, not evil, but limiting. He distinguished between slave morality, values safety, humility, obedience. Master morality, values strength, creativity, self-definition. This doesn't mean oppressing others. It means refusing to shrink yourself. Nietzsche didn't believe suffering should be avoided. He believed meaningless suffering should. Pain with purpose transforms. Pain without meaning destroys. The real self is forged in tension. Comfort erodes it. Here's where philosophy becomes lived reality. Practice 1. Value inventory. Write down beliefs you inherited, rules you never questioned, choices made out of fear. Then ask, would I choose this again? If not, why are you still living it? Practice 2. Daily self-authorship. Each day make one choice. Unpopular, honest, self-directed. Small acts compound. Identity follows action. Practice 3. The mirror question. Ask yourself, if no one remembered me, would I still live this way? That question burns away false selves. Nietzsche proposed this thought experiment. Imagine you had to live your life again. Every joy, every pain, every mistake, over and over. Would you say yes? If not, what needs to change? That is the real self speaking. So why this terrifies people? Because becoming yourself means disappointing others, letting go of certainty, standing alone. But Nietzsche believed isolation was temporary. Self-betrayal lasts forever. No one is coming to rescue you from mediocrity. No philosophy, no teacher, no video. This is a confrontation with yourself, and that's why most people avoid it. Here's the one habit Nietzsche would give you. Live as if your life were a work of art, not perfect, intentional. Every choice either expresses you or erases you. Choose accordingly. If this unsettled you, that means something real is trying to emerge. If you want more deep psychology, existential philosophy, and uncomfortable truth, subscribe to the channel. And remember, you were not born to fit in, you were born to become.